Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Susan Lopresti, and as always, I am so grateful that you are here with me today. Today, I want to talk about a topic I entitled Staying Stuck in Your Shit. And I just want to briefly talk about this because I find that a lot of women who go through something like a divorce. And I'm not minimizing divorce. I've been there. It's not a pleasure trip. And there's a lot of hurt and there's a lot of disappointment and just so many mixed emotions and feelings that go with a divorce. Or the death of a loved one, another thing that certainly I'm not minimizing, a tragic loss of any kind. And also perhaps like a loss of a job or whatever it may be. There's things that go on in people's lives that are devastating. Let me just say it like that. They're devastating. It's not anything that you would want to see anyone go through. Like a lot of times you'll hear someone say, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And so let me say this, no one escapes bad things. Things will happen to everyone. There'll be disappointment, there'll be loss, but there'll also be good things. And you need to be able to, I believe, at some point in your life, you need to let go of that negative and learn from it, because everything is a learning experience. And I feel like even when something bad happens to you, let's say a divorce or infidelity, as you go on and progress in life, you may begin to notice that that tragedy of whatever it was, or that loss, or that disappointment could actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise. But I think the only way it becomes a blessing in disguise is if at some point in your life, you recognize this was terrible and I went through it and I wallowed and I hurt and I grieved and I suffered whatever loss it may have been. But at some point, what makes all the difference in the world is picking yourself up, brushing yourself off, holding your head up high, and deciding that you're going to move past it and you're going to start living your life again. And what I notice about a lot of people, even my clients in my health coaching programs, is that they get stuck in that situation. And what happens is, a lot of times, everyone that you meet, everyone that you talk to, regardless of what it is, you tell your story over and over and over again. Whoever you see, whoever you bump into, whoever calls you, you repeat that story. And by repeating that story, you're giving it life and you're giving it legs to carry you in a way of a poor me mentality. And you may not realize that. And I'm going to say this again, I'm not minimizing anything that has happened to anyone. But what I am saying is that at some point in your life, after this event happens, you need to move past it. You need to learn from it. You need to look back and see if there was a role that you played in this situation, how you could have handled it differently. It could be anything. So some things are bigger losses than others, but when you're in the thick of something, it's big, right? It's big. And so I want people to understand that grieving and wallowing is a healthy response to something bad that happens to you. But at some point, you need to move past it. And when you move past it, when you accept it, this is my reality, this is what happened. I don't understand it. I don't know why it happened, but I'm going to believe that everything happens for a reason and something good will come of this at some point in my life. And that's the sweet spot. Once you get to that spot and that place in your life, things in your life will turn around. Now, you may think I don't know what I'm talking about, but I am speaking from experience. I went through loss. I went through tons of disappointment. I went through infidelity. I went through a divorce. And at a certain point in my life, I was able to move on and go past it and make peace with what happened. And that's the key. At some point, you need to make peace with the events. And, people say that God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. I believe that. I believe that. But I also believe that these events of disappointment, of grief, of loss, those are the things that take us to the other side. And it's like a balancing act, right? It's a balancing act because something bad happens. But if you start to believe that better days are coming and something good is going to happen, it will. It will. And any time that there's a void, the universe has a way of filling up that void with something else. Now, it's up to you in your mind what you want to fill that void with. If you want more of that negative or that tragedy, because a lot of people in some way, they thrive on that because it's almost like they want people to feel sorry for them in a way. And yes, you could feel sorry for someone, but at some point, you need to cut that cord and move forward. And so that's what I'm here to tell you today. If you are in the thick of anything negative, of anything bad, of disappointment, of illness, of divorce, infidelity, your own illness, the illness of someone that you love, at some point, something good comes from something bad. You can't even imagine when you're in the middle of it, what could happen that would be good. But with a little bit of faith, which we all need to learn to cultivate in our lives, we need to have a positive attitude. We need to have a positive mindset because that's what's going to bring you to the other side. When you stay stuck in your shit, what happens is emotionally, you're not well. You're in a state of depression or anxiety or whatever state it brings you to. That leads to disease. That will lead to disease if you don't release it at some point in your life, sooner rather than later, and move on. I'm not saying to forget about the person who passed away. I'm not saying to minimize that person's illness or what you went through or the divorce and how much it could hurt, especially if you're still very much in love with this person. But time heals all wounds. And everyone is on a different timetable for that. But please, at some point, move past it because there's happiness and joy and love on the other side of that. If you allow it, you have to allow it. You have to believe that you deserve it and allow it to come to you. Because I know when I was getting divorced, my heart was broken like you can't imagine. My world was shattered. I was lost. I was lost. I was devastated. But little by little, I picked myself up and had to move on. This was my reality. This part of my life was over. And as I started to let go, little by little, not immediately, little by little, I released it. I released it. I brought more good into my life. I let go of some of the negative, and things began to turn around. And you know what? I have the best life right now. I am so happy. Am I making millions of dollars? No, I'm not making millions of dollars, but I'm content with where I'm at. I lost my husband, right, to divorce, but in reality, it was the best thing that could have happened to me because life has been so much better since then. I want you to just give some thought to that. And again, I want to repeat this. I am not minimizing anyone's hurt or pain or loss or devastation. There needs to be a time for grieving, but a reasonable amount of time, and then move on with your life. Take baby steps. Do something that makes you feel happy. Practice some self-care. Go get a facial. Go get a massage. Take a weekend in the country. Whatever it is, meet with a group of friends. Meet with one friend. Go to lunch. Put one foot in front of the other every single day to move to a positive part of your life. Release the negative, shake it off, do whatever needs to be done to start moving forward in your own time. But you need to start accepting that this is what's happened. It wasn't what I wanted. It's not ideal, but something better will come along. And it may not be a new spouse. It may be something that you can't even imagine what it could be. But just have that faith and that hope that something better is coming along and that you're supported and you're loved and you will come out on the other side of this. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, any comments. If you think that this episode may benefit someone that you know who may be going through something like this, please share this episode with them. If you're not already following me, please follow me so that you know when a new episode is out so that you could listen. And I so appreciate you. If you're interested in learning more about me or any of my health coaching programs that I offer, please go to www.susanlopresti.com. You will have access to my podcast. You will have access to my blog. You will see all of my health coaching programs that I'm currently running for spring and summer. And also, you'll get to know a little bit more about me and my own journey. Thank you again for listening. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Until the next time, stay well, stay happy, and bye for now.